Today we're going to explore parts of words that carry meaning. Before we get into our new learning for today, let's take a minute and let's talk about some things that you probably already know about words. So you probably already know that lots of words have letters that go together in predictable ways, right? To make predictable patterns of sound. We see that, for example, in the letters CH that make ch, like in chocolate chip cookie, or in the letters SH, like ship or shoe. You probably also know that syllables combine in different ways, and that we can use those syllable patterns or those syllable combinations to help us break into longer words. You might also even already know that there are certain word parts that carry meaning. Certain word parts called suffixes or inflectional endings can come at the end of the word, and then they can carry meaning. And today we're going to explore word parts that come at the beginning of a word and can carry meaning. And these word parts are called prefixes. Prefixes are really important and really cool because they have meaning in them. And you can use that meaning to help you change the meanings of words, build new words, figure out words you might not know. They're really, really useful. So today I'm going to tell you about a prefix that you might already have heard of, and that's the prefix pre. Pre. Right? And pre attaches to a lot of root words and a lot of roots, and it means before. So we're going to explore this prefix pre today in a message. Let's get started. Dear friends, my mom's birthday is this week. To surprise her, I'm going to prepare a birthday cake. I pre-mixed the flour, sugar, and other ingredients. All I need to do tonight is to put it in the oven to bake. I hope I remember to preheat the oven. So have you guys ever made a cake before? You know, sometimes it takes a little bit of preparation, right? A little thinking beforehand of what you're going to do. So let's go ahead and take a look at our message, and let's see what words you notice that you think might have this prefix pre. Right? Remember, a prefix comes at the beginning of a word, and it can change the meaning of a word. And in this case, our prefix pre means before. So I'll read the message to you, and as I'm reading it, be on the lookout for words that you think might have our prefix pre. Dear friends, my mom's birthday is this week. To surprise her, I am going to prepare a birthday cake. I pre-mixed the flour, sugar, and other ingredients. All I need to do tonight is to put it in the oven to bake. I hope I remember to preheat the oven. What words do you notice that you think might have the prefix pre in our message? You might have noticed the word premixed or premix. So let's take a look at that word together. Premix. So what are you noticing about the word premix? You might be noticing that it attaches, the prefix pre attaches to a root word. There's our root word mix, right? If you mix something, you stir it all up, right? And you do it right then and there. So if I mix the ingredients, the flour, the sugar, the eggs, the butter, I'm doing it right then, right? Putting all of those things together. If I pre-mix, then I've mixed the ingredients before I need to use them. So do you see how when we add that prefix pre, we change the whole meaning of that word mix? I'm not doing it right now. I mixed it before. So last night, I pre-mixed the ingredients for the cake. I mixed the ingredients up before I was even ready to bake the cake. So premix is a word that's an example of a word that's spelled with a root word, mix, and then it has our prefix pre attached to it. Cool, huh? Where else do you notice a word that you think might have the prefix pre in our message? You might have noticed the word preheat. Let's take a look at preheat and see what we notice. So what do you notice? Take a good look at that word. You probably see that root word heat, right? If you heat the oven, you turn it on, right? You turn it on so it warms up. If you preheat the oven, you turn the oven on before you put the food in. So the oven is nice and warm and ready for the cake batter when it goes in. So do you see how just by adding that prefix pre, meaning before, we change the whole meaning of that word? Neat, huh? What other words do you notice that you think might have the prefix pre? I think I hear you saying that you notice pre in the word prepare. So tonight I'm going to prepare a birthday cake. Let's take a look at that word. Prepare. Take a good look at that word. What are you noticing? You might be noticing that prepare does not have a root word, right? Like premix or preheat, does it? But let's think, is there a meaning of before in prepare? Well, if you prepare for something, what do? Yeah, you get ready for something before it's going to happen. So right now I am preparing for my mom's birthday. I'm getting ready for her birthday before her birthday has even happened. You might prepare your backpack for school the next day, right? You get everything ready for school before you need it. So prepare is an example of a word that has the prefix pre, but doesn't attach to a root word. One of the things to keep in mind when you're working with prefixes is that sometimes they're going to attach to intact root words, like preheat, right? But other times they're going to attach to what we call roots. Roots are not words by themselves. They still have meaning, but what you need to be looking for is where is the meaning of the prefix? Does the word prepare have a meaning of before? If it does, you probably have the prefix, even though you don't have an intact root word. Kind of cool, huh? It can be kind of tricky, but it's also kind of fun. Let's take a minute and let's think together about some other words that we might know that we think might have the prefix pre, and we'll make a spoke together. So start thinking of some words while I tape our spoke up. So what are some words that you think you know that you think might have the prefix pre? Well, let's start with a few that we've already talked about. So we talked about preheat, right? When you heat up the oven before you put the food in. And we talked about premix. Have you ever bought a cake mix or a muffin mix or a brownie mix from the grocery store? If you have, you might have even noticed that word premixed on the box. A lot of times those cake mixes that we buy have the ingredients already mixed up before. They're pre-mixed, so all we have to do is dump them into the bowl. What other words can you think of that you think might have the prefix pre? You might know the word pretest, right? Maybe your teacher has given you a pretest in school, a test that you take before you start learning about something new, right? And this is something your teacher does so she knows what to teach you before the unit starts. So there's our word, pretest. To test before you learn something. Pretty cool, huh? Or maybe you know the word prepaid. Have you ever bought a prepaid, maybe a prepaid cell phone? So on your plan, when you buy your cell phone plan, it's already prepaid. You've paid for the minutes you're going to use before you actually use them. That's the word prepaid. Or sometimes you might think of money on a gift card is prepaid, right? It's paid before. So again, do you see how when we take a look at that word, the root word there is paid. I paid, right? I put the money down. If I prepaid, I paid for something before I used it. What about this word? You might have a little sister and brother who go to preschool. Maybe you went to preschool, right? Little kids, little 3, 4 years old, go to school before they start regular elementary school, right? We call that preschool. It's the school you go to before you start elementary school. What about when you're getting ready to write a new story? You might start your writing process by pre-writing. I like to do that a lot. When I pre-write, I like to kind of take the ideas I have in my head about what I want to share with my reader and sort of write them all down, kind of like a brain dump, before I start my actual writing. Pre-write. What other words can we think of that might have that prefix pre? Well, we know that oftentimes the prefix pre is going to attach to a root word, like pre-write or preschool or prepaid, but sometimes it's not, right? Like in the word prepare. Right? To get ready for something before you do it. So readers, as you're reading and writing this week, be on the lookout for this prefix pre and see, when you see it, ask yourself, where is the meaning of before in this word? And we'll explore this prefix some more tomorrow. Thanks.